from the local station. This is Weather Authority Weekday.
Hey everyone, Meteorologist Chris Holtzman here. It is Wednesday, the middle of the week, and we are looking at more sunshine, comfortable temperatures as well. In fact, we are above normal with our temperature for the day today. Let's take a live look in St. Augustine this morning, and the blue sky is around as that area of high pressure is over us, so we're not expecting any rain. Now, some of us need the rain, although St. Augustine, we don't need the rain because if you recall, it's been so wet the past couple of weeks and really months. But this dry pattern is affecting everyone now, so there's a live look there over St. Augustine. A live look here, Jacksonville International Airport, and we are looking at a blue sky as well, and the drier air even inland too. And notice temperatures 73 degrees. We have sunshine around, and that is in association with that area of high pressure. Now this morning, if you looked up, we had the supermoon. We actually had some photos sent in, so thank you so much to everyone for sending those photos in. Let's take a live look at the moon zoomed out. And you might wonder, well, what exactly is a supermoon? Well, we had the full moon, the beaver moon, of course, in November. But remember, the moon does not orbit the Earth in a perfect circle. So as a result, those imperfections allow the moon to be a bit closer to the Earth or a bit farther to the Earth. So those imperfections allow, during a full moon, if they happen at the same time, the moon to appear brighter and also bigger. And this is a closer look. Look at that, how nice that photo is. And that is showing the moon really zoomed in there, brighter as well. It really illuminated the night sky. Now, we do have two more supermoons for the rest of the year, and that is in November, or I should say in December, and then another one, I should say, in January. So 3 over the next couple of months. But overall, though, after we saw those clear skies this morning, that sunshine has warmed us up. 73, once again, is our temperature at the Jacksonville International Airport. Very similar setup to what we had really for most of the week. We have that area of high pressure moving offshore. Our wind is starting to move onshore, but at the same time, we do have that risk for some minor coastal flooding due to the supermoon. That's allowing the tidal levels to go up a bit more. We don't have any widespread alerts for any flooding, but again, some minor flooding will be possible, especially along the Atlantic coast and also the St. Johns River Basin through at least the end of the week. So if your area is prone to coastal flooding, just be advised some roads may be covered in water. Don't attempt to drive through them. But notice temperatures very comfortable out there. Georgia counties, we're looking at upper 60s to near 70, even across northeast Florida. We do have temperatures in the upper 60s to low 70s across our area. Right around 73 in Jacksonville, 68 in St. Mary's. Waycross is in the upper 60s, 73 in St. Augustine. And Green Cove Springs reporting a temperature in the upper 60s. So if you have any outdoor plans, again, the weather very nice. We're looking at temperatures up into the 70s for everyone by mid to late morning. And then by the afternoon, temperatures will be up into the 70s, at least at 2 low 80s. By the afternoon. So we are a few degrees above normal. In fact, high temperatures for the day today, looking at a high temperature closer to the coast in the upper 70s, but many of us will be in the low 80s by the afternoon. So again, certainly a very comfortable day out there. Average highs in the mid to upper 70s, so we are a few degrees above that, and we are rain-free for the day today. A couple of clouds may bubble up, but overall should be a pretty sunny day out there with that dry air overhead. Now into tonight, temperatures will fall most of us into the 50s to low 60s, a little bit warmer closer to the coast. Remember where we have some of that warmer water. So we have Mayport at 60 tonight, 61 in St. Augustine, 56 in Brunswick, and then closer to the metro, 58 in Jacksonville, Orange Park in the upper 50s, and much cooler west with temperatures Waycross around 50 tonight. Lake City and Columbia County reporting temperatures tonight in the 50s. Another warm day, though, is on the way. So we keep the trend of 80s around with highs in the upper 70s to low 80s during the day on Thursday. So the week is flying by, but Thursday looking very comfortable as well with sunshine around. And notice Futurecast as we head into the day on Thursday. A couple of clouds bubble up. That's about it. Notice the model painting an isolated shower. That's mainly south of our area there. So we should be relatively dry. There's a weak front that will try to cross our area as we head into the day Thursday. Really not much rain, though, with it. In fact, this is a relatively dry front. A couple of showers possible across central and south Florida. And then our weather maker that will arrive here, that is in association with another cold front. If you look right at the top of your screen, you'll see Minneapolis with a front to the north. That's a sign of some cooler air that will work in our direction later in the weekend into early next week. I do want to show you as well, look at our rain total forecast. The timestamp is moving, so the model's going out. But again, there's nothing on the map, and that's an indication of how dry we'll be over the next couple of days, and we certainly could use the rain. Remember, our drought tracker, now this is released every Thursday, and this shows, so this is about a week old, but I do expect some of these areas to expand in coverage. We do have a severe drought for portions of Georgia, also for portions of Florida, but notice as well into the Panhandle, we have an extreme drought, and that's where rainfall deficits are approaching, if not exceeding, 10 to even 15 inches of rain. Lake City, for example, in Columbia County is reporting a deficit over 10 inches for the year. Notice our coastal spots, really not much of a deficit at all because, again, the pattern, it's been so wet with that onshore wind over the past couple of months. But the extended period, at least going through the next week or so, well below normal precip, and that's an indication that, again, we're not expecting any rain. Even the extended period, we are in a La Nina, and what that means for the winter is we're typically milder and also drier. So this dry pattern could persist through the end of the year, even into the early part of the upcoming year. Now, it's not to say we're not going to see rain, but any widespread totals to allow the numbers to get above normal, really not expected across our area. So that's something to take note of, and also to take note of the temperature, because we have a big cold front on the way, and that will arrive as we head through the second half of the weekend into early next week. And that front means business. Now, we're not expecting any severe weather or anything like that. If this was the springtime, that could be a different story. But because we're entering the cooler months, again, we're not expecting any widespread rain. But look at that darker color there. That is an indication from the Climate Prediction Center. We are well below normal as we head through the 11th to the 15th, so over the next week or two. And that's courtesy of that colder air moving in from Canada. In fact, let's take a look at that and what we can see in terms of our temperature. You can see in Canada all of that blue and also purple, and that's indicating much below normal air. So this is taking a look at temperatures a couple thousand feet up, and what we're looking at is that air moving in from Canada moving south, and that really moves into the central and eastern part of the country. So here in Florida and southeast Georgia, we're getting cooler, not as cold, of course, as areas to the north, but still that cooler air means we will be looking at temperatures generally into the 60s, with how about overnight lows looking at 30s for many locations to 40s. So our 7-day forecast, as we look at our forecast through the rest of the day, looking at a high of 79 degrees, upper 70s on Thursday, and then by the end of the week to weekend. So again, most of us into the 70s and 80s the next few days. And look at that cool down. It is a significant cool down with highs Sunday, low 80s. Monday and Tuesday, we're looking at highs in the 50s and 60s. Now again, we will have sunshine around. It's not like we're cloudy in 59, but still much cooler than we should be. Almost about 15 degrees below normal. And that's why we saw that temperature map showing that well below normal temperature forecast. And those overnight lows, we go from the 50s and 60s down into the 30s and 40s by early next week. Also to note, it will be a bit breezy during that time frame. So it looks like our wind chill, that's what we say when you factor in the wind and the actual temperature, will be in the 30s for many locations as we head through the end of the weekend into early next week when we see the coolest of the air. Of course, you can get the latest forecast on air, online, and on the app. But for now, though, have a great rest of your Wednesday.
See why every day more people are choosing News4JAX, Northeast Florida and South Georgia's #1 source for local news.